We all know that journaling can change your life, but let's be real, starting is easy, but staying consistent, that is the tricky part. If you have ever bought a brand new journal, you wrote it for a few days and then you left it on your shelf untouched, you are not alone. Staying consistent with journaling is the number one challenge I hear the most in my journaling sessions. And that is why today I'm going to share with you how to build a journaling practice that feels positive, rewarding, and consistent. So in this video, we are going to explore why is consistency important to begin with, then what is the ideal journaling frequency for you according to your needs, and then how to start journaling consistently. And I'm going to share with you a couple of tips and tricks based on the science of habit formation. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Juma. I am a certified Journal to the Self instructor. I'm also studying journal writing at the Therapeutic Writing Institute, and I am here to support you in keeping a journal as a practice to develop a healthy, thriving relationship with yourself and therefore with everything else. So without further ado, let's get started. Why journaling consistently matters. Here's the thing, while occasional journaling can be beneficial, it is the consistency that is going to unlock the real power of journaling. You can think of it like a practice. Just like exercising regularly strengthens your body, journaling consistently strengthens your mind, emotions, and your sense of self. The first benefit of journaling consistently is building self-awareness, because when you journal consistently, you are creating a dedicated space to your inner sanctuary for you to process your thoughts, emotions, your experiences, and over time, you're going to start noticing patterns in your thinking, in your behavior, and identifying what is working and what is not, so you can make the necessary changes. Consistency also gives you the opportunity to track your personal growth and transformation. When you look back at your journal entries from a month ago, 6 months ago, or even years ago, you can see how far you have come. It's a tangible record of your journey, a reminder of your resilience and how much you have grown. And beyond improving self-awareness and documenting your journey, journaling consistently can also be incredibly grounding. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with distractions and busyness, infinite scrolling, and dopamine addiction, journaling is the reset button. It brings your power back where it belongs, and it helps you to navigate the world with intention, presence, and authenticity. At the end of the last cohort of the Journal to the Self course, a student shared that her biggest takeaway was that journaling allowed her to deeply listen and trust her inner voice, that voice inside of you that often gets drowned in the noise of everyday life. And this is the result of journaling consistently. You begin to nurture the relationship and connection with your inner voice, and then inevitably you become more confident, you seek less validation, and you become much more in tune with who you truly are. Now, for us to be on the same page, let's recap what actually consistency is, because there are so many misunderstandings about it. Ultimately, consistency is not about journaling every day. Consistency in journaling is about creating a relationship with your journal. It's about making journaling a regular part in your life instead of sticking to rigid rules. And the first step for you to know what frequency is best for you is to know where in your journaling journey you are. So for example, just like planning a road trip, it is important that you know what your starting point and where you want to go. Knowing where you are in your journaling journey is going to help you to choose the best route, including what is the best frequency for you and the right methods, so you can reach your journaling destination. Now, through my workshops, I realized that there are 3 stages in journaling. The first one is the journaling newbie, the second one is the journaling binger, And the third is the journaling wizard. If you don't know in which stage you are, you can always take the quiz. It takes less than a minute, and you're going to receive a personalized plan for you to adapt your journaling practice according to it. You should see the QR code somewhere here or here, I never know, but for sure the link is going to be in the description below. So for example, if you are a journaling newbie, you are a beginner, and so it is important that you establish a new habit without feeling overwhelmed. And so journaling 1 to 2 times a week, it's more than enough. And it doesn't have to be for long. 5 minutes is more than enough. And also research on habit formation suggests that starting small and taking simple steps is the best way for you to increase the likelihood of you sticking to a habit. Now, if you are a journaling binger, you tend to journal mostly when you feel frustrated, angry, or maybe sad, or when you have a strike of inspiration. However, the problem with journaling bingers is that you often stay at the surface level of journaling, and actually the practice can become heavy. And so what is important for you as a journaling binger is to gain momentum. For example, to increase your frequency to 2 to 3 times a week, and also start slowly exploring other journaling techniques. Lastly, the journaling wizard is the journaler who has already developed a consistent journaling practice. However, the pain point tends to be that it becomes monotonous or repetitive because we tend to use the same techniques and the same methods. So more than increasing the frequency of journaling, let's say to 3 to 5 times a week, it is important that you start exploring many more methods and techniques and types of journals so you can reap the best benefits of the practice. So for example, I, as a journaling wizard, I have different journaling practices. For example, first I have my journaling that it's not daily, but it's almost, and for that I use the life journal. Then every Saturday morning, that's my weekly journaling routine. That's where I write my stream of consciousness. And then every year, I use the New Year journal to review the year that has passed and also plan the year ahead. The other day, I saw on Instagram an illustration that shows what people think consistency is versus what actually consistency is about. And the message here is that when it comes to consistency, frequency is more important than volume. And so having a few minutes of mindful journaling can already be impactful. And lastly, remember that while defining a regular schedule in your journaling practice is important, it is equally important for you to be kind to yourself and remain flexible, because life and growth, they are not a straight line. Now, there are many different models of habit formation, from Dr. B.J. Fogg's behavior model to the Atomic Habits Loop by James Clear, but today we are going to be using the Limitless model by Jim Quick. And the Limitless model is a Venn diagram that visualizes the interplay between 3 key components for you to achieve any goal that you set for yourself or for you to create a new habit. And they are mindset, motivation, and methods. And often we jump straight to methods when we want to create a new habit, but actually there is so much more that drives behavior. So let's get started with the mindsets. The mindset is a crucial component of the Limitless model, as it sets the foundation for you to form a new habit. And the mindset is about what you believe to be possible, is about what you believe that you're capable of. And Henry Ford has this quote that says that whether you think you can or you cannot, guess what? You are right. And in this case, the mindset is about what you believe to be true about journaling. And there is one belief in specific that I find paramount for you to adopt, which is that your journaling practice is unique to you. In other words, in journaling, there is no one size fits all. It is a deeply personal practice. I often say that when journaling, there is no wrong, only right. So for example, you don't have to journal every day. And also, your journaling entries don't have to look that beautiful or tidy as we see on social media. So remember that journaling is not about self-repression, it is about self-expression. And while you can get inspired by what you see, especially online, it is not required. In fact, individuality is what makes journaling so powerful as a practice for self-exploration, because instead of you adjusting to the practice adjusts to you. So let's go now to the second component of the limitless model, and that is motivation. Motivation is the driving force that propels you to take action and move towards your goal. Now, an important note is that motivation is not a constant state. It fluctuates, especially for us as women. And so it is equally important that we develop the skill to understand when to push forward and when to set back. Now, to help understand motivation, Jim created a formula that is M, that stands for motivation, equals P times E times S3. P stands for purpose, which represents the reason why you want to achieve your goal. It's important to have a clear and compelling reason for taking action, as it will help sustain your motivation over time. And just like a health checkup helps you understand what nutrients your body needs, when journaling, it is important that you understand what are your needs and your purpose, so then you can find the right methods. For example, if you're seeking mental clarity, then do stream of consciousness or shadow work journaling. If you want to stay more organized and focused, then try a guided journal like the Life Journal. And if you're struggling with negative thoughts, try positive journaling. And if you want to create your future and focus on motivation, then try scripting and future-oriented prompts that can serve as your roadmap. By accessing your purpose, journaling becomes a personalized practice rather than a one-size-fits-all activity, empowering you to address exactly what you need. Now, the E stands for energy, which is your level of excitement towards your habits. And when you are more motivated for something that you're passionate about, you are more likely to do it. And in James Clear's words, make it attractive. And for that, I like to make the distinction between a habit and a ritual. A habit is a repeated automatic behavior, while a ritual is a repeated mindful behavior. So how do you make journaling a ritual? I like to play with the senses and be more intentional about creating an environment that feels cozy and aligned according to your preferences. So for example, you can think about the sense of smell by connecting journaling with an essential oil. You can also think about your sense of taste, and you can journal while you're having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. In terms of sight, you can use candlelight. You can also think about how clean and decluttered is your environment. Then in terms of touch, remember to use a pen and a journal that spark joy to you. And in terms of hearing and listening, you can use a journaling playlist, and I have a few on my channel. Lastly, S3 stands for small, simple steps, and they represent the small, tiny steps towards your habits. And this is especially important for journaling newbies because it prevents them to feel overwhelmed. So according to, again, James Clear, the intention here is about making it obvious. So how do you make your journaling obvious? Here are 3 tips. You can place your journal in a visible spot and keep it in a place where you frequently pass by or look at, such as your desk or your bedside table. And the visibility acts as a reminder and makes your habit more prominent in your day. Another tip on environmental design is to link your habit with a specific object or environment, as it creates a strong and consistent cue for your brain. For instance, it is beneficial for you to use a dedicated physical journal if you want to journal more consistently compared to an iPhone, because that can be used for numerous tasks and it can be filled with distractions. And lastly, you can use habit stacking, which is a strategy in which you connect a existing habit with a new habit. For example, you can journal after your meditation, or you can journal while you're having a cup of coffee, or you can journal before your workouts. Now we arrived at the last M of the limitless model, and that is the methods. The methods is the practical plan for you to actually start journaling, and there are a couple of decisions for you to do when it comes to journaling methods. So the first one is to understand, is your journaling going to be analog or digital? And if you're choosing digital, what are the apps that are going to use it? Are you going to type it? Are you going to write it? Are you going to do audio journaling? So you also have different formats within digital journaling. Then if you are choosing a physical journal, the analog, then what kind of journal are you going to use? You can use a blank journal. You can use what I call a standard journal, which is the sweet spot between freedom and structure. For example, you can use lined pages or dotted pages. And lastly, you can also have a guided journal, which is great for beginners because you already have a step-by-step process and a structure that guides you throughout the way. Then you can think about the journaling methods. For example, shadow work journaling or positive journaling, which is very connected to your purpose. So according to your purpose, you decide on the methods. And lastly, it's so important that you also experiment with different journaling techniques, because most people, they only use journaling prompts or stream of consciousness as the journaling techniques, while in fact there are so many out there. And that is why I'm offering the Journal to the Self course with about 16 or 17 journaling techniques for you to explore and actually understand how to go deeper into your practice by experimenting with different journaling techniques. Now, a few months ago, I read a book called Written, which is how to form the habit of writing, regardless if it's for personal writing or if you are what quote unquote a writer. And in the book, they give a method, a 4-step methods for you to test different approaches with an open mind, and then for you to notice what is working and what is not, and then for you to reflect on what you observe and record insights, and lastly for you to adapt your behavior and ritual accordingly. So recapping, this is the checklist for how to journal consistently. First, take the quiz and understand where in your journaling journey you are. Second, define your purpose. Why is journaling important for you? How can this contribute to your life? Third, define what consistency means to you and find the frequency that is aligned with your journaling stage. Fourth, choose your methods. And lastly, make journaling a ritual by creating a moment that sparks joy for you. And if you have any questions about how to journal or how to journal consistently, drop them in the comments below and let me know if this video was helpful for you. And that's all for today. I will see you soon.